Harmony by the Lake. Part 1. The Awakening of Morning. The morning does not arrive in a rush. It unfolds slowly, like a secret whispered between the earth and the sky, its presence first hinted at in the deep indigo that softens into violet, then warmed by the delicate brush of gold upon the horizon. Shadows retreat lazily as the sun stretches its arms across the landscape, nudging the world awake with a gentle insistence. The hush of night lingers for a moment longer, reluctant to fully release its grasp, before finally dissolving into the crisp clarity of dawn. A delicate glow clings to the horizon, the remnants of dawn's golden breath stretching thin before surrendering to the soft blue of day. The air is crisp, almost untouched, as though the world has been waiting for someone to inhale it, to pull it deep into their lungs, to absorb its quiet purity. It carries with it the scent of new beginnings, of fresh earth and promise, an invitation to step into the day without the burdens of yesterday. You do just that. A deep breath. Pause. A moment where time stills, where the weight of everything beyond this place, beyond this moment, fades into insignificance. The scent of damp earth rises to meet you, mingling with the freshness of leaves kissed by the night's lingering dew. Somewhere in the distance, the faint sweetness of wildflowers drifts through the air, carried by a wind so gentle it feels more like a whisper than a force. It brushes against your skin, a quiet touch of the morning's embrace, cool yet filled with the promise of warmth. The transition from night to morning is neither sudden nor rushed. It is an unfolding, a gradual surrender of darkness to light. Above, the last stars blink sleepily before fading into the expanding blue, while the first birds break the hush of dawn with their tentative, warbling notes. The grass, jeweled with dew, glistens as the sun's rays reach further across the landscape, casting a golden sheen over the land. The world stirs, stretching its limbs, awakening not with a jolt but with the slow grace of something ancient and unhurried. A single droplet of dew lingers on the edge of a blade of grass, glistening in the morning light before surrendering to gravity, falling soundlessly into the earth below. The rhythm of morning is a symphony of patience, clouds drifting lazily across the sky, the gentle sway of leaves in the breeze, the rhythmic lapping of distant water against a quiet shore. Everything moves with unspoken harmony, a balance of stillness and motion that makes you feel, if only for a fleeting moment, as though you are part of something far greater than yourself. The air hums with the quiet murmur of life returning, branches shifting in the breeze, the flutter of unseen wings, the distant rhythmic chirr of insects welcoming the day. The warmth of the rising sun begins to push back the night's lingering chill, seeping into the ground, into the very marrow of the earth. The world, once hushed, now exhales, its breath mingling with yours in a shared moment of awakening. There is a tenderness in the way the sun greets the land, not in a blaze of heat, but in slow, measured strokes, illuminating the world one golden thread at a time. You stand still, allowing yourself to be part of this slow, unfolding symphony. There is no urgency here, no need to rush forward. Only this moment, stretching endlessly, inviting you to step fully into it, to feel its quiet embrace before the day moves on. You close your eyes for a brief second, memorizing the feeling, knowing that this peace, this stillness, is something you can always return to, within the hush of morning, within the rhythm of breath, within yourself. Part 2. The Path Through the Forest. Your footsteps press into the soft soil as you follow the winding path before you. It is narrow, carved not by human hands but by time, by the patient rhythm of nature itself. The forest encloses you in its quiet embrace, its towering trees forming a canopy overhead, their limbs stretching toward one another as if in silent communion. Each step feels like a quiet conversation with the earth, a whispered acknowledgement between you and the ancient land beneath your feet. Sunlight filters through the gaps, spilling onto the earth in fragmented ribbons of gold. The ground is dappled with shadow and light, an ever-changing mosaic shaped by the shifting leaves above. The air is filled with the occasional trill of a bird hidden among the branches, its melody blending seamlessly with the rustling of the leaves and the distant hum of life stirring beyond your sight. A woodpecker taps rhythmically against a nearby trunk, its steady percussion an integral part of the forest's natural symphony. The scent of pine and damp earth lingers, rich and grounding, filling your lungs with the pure essence of the forest. The aroma is deep, earthy, like the memory of rain long since absorbed by the waiting soil. Each step you take is met with the soft crackle of twigs, the hushed sigh of the earth adjusting beneath your weight. The forest breathes with you in quiet synchrony. A squirrel darts up the trunk of an ancient oak, its small claws scrabbling against the bark before it vanishes into the foliage above. A rabbit pauses on the path ahead, ears twitching, nose testing the air before it dashes into the underbrush. A gentle breeze shifts through the leaves, sending a ripple of movement through the canopy, as if the forest itself is stretching and stirring in its timeless slumber. Tiny motes of dust dance in the golden light, swirling in the wake of the shifting air, drifting lazily like echoes of unseen movement. And then, faint at first, you hear it. A sound so subtle it might be mistaken for the sigh of wind through the trees. But no, it is something deeper, something more fluid. A murmur, a delicate promise carried through the air. It grows steadier, more distinct, mingling with the rustling leaves and the rhythmic pulse of nature. The song of a hidden stream or the distant whisper of a lake, calling to you before it is seen. The melody is ancient, unchanged through time, weaving through the trees like an unspoken invitation. The trees ahead seem to thin, revealing patches of open space between their trunks. The air shifts, cooler, laced with moisture, infused with something fresh and untainted. A dragonfly flits across your path, its wings catching the light, a fleeting shimmer before it disappears into the shadows. The scent of water grows stronger, mingling with the damp fragrance of moss and stone. You press forward, drawn by the soft and rhythmic resonance, a sound that holds the weight of quiet invitation. Something vast and waiting lies just beyond the trees, something timeless and still, ready to reveal itself as you step closer, leaving the hush of the forest behind. Part 3, the first glimpse of the lake. The lake calls to you before you can see it, its presence felt in the rhythm of the land. The air grows heavier with moisture, tinged with the crisp, mineral scent of water. The distant murmur of gentle ripples brushing against the shore weaves into the rustling leaves and the soft hum of life surrounding you. A faint coolness brushes against your skin, carried by a breeze that whispers of open space and unbroken reflection. The sound is neither loud nor urgent, but constant, a steady pulse of water meeting land, a voice that has existed long before you and will remain long after you leave. It is a presence both timeless and reassuring, a silent witness to the passage of the years and the shifting dance of the elements. The trees begin to thin, their dense embrace loosening, revealing glimpses of something vast and still beyond them. The shift is subtle. First, a widening in the spaces between trunks, then a glimpse of silver blue flickering through the gaps. The scent in the air deepens, the humidity thickening slightly, carrying the freshness of water that has long held the reflections of endless skies. The rustling of leaves merges with the hushed murmur of lapping waves, a chorus of movement that carries the weight of something ancient yet ever-present. And then, with one final step, you emerge from the forest. And there it is. A stretch of water so smooth it seems almost like glass, reflecting the sky with an untouched purity. It does not rush. It does not chase. It simply exists, effortlessly serene. The surface, undisturbed, mirrors the heavens with a clarity that feels almost otherworldly, as if you have stepped into a realm suspended between earth and sky. The quietness here is profound, yet it is not empty. It is full of presence, of time stretched infinitely wide, of nature breathing in harmony with itself. The lake is both a threshold and a sanctuary, a space where the world slows, where time itself seems to soften its grip. The clarity of the lake is startling. Near the shore, you can see the stones resting beneath the shallows, worn smooth by years of gentle caresses from the water's movement. Their forms are blurred only by the occasional ripple, a shift in the air, the descent of a leaf, the passing of time. A fish glides just beneath the surface, its presence a fleeting shimmer, a whisper of motion in an otherwise still world. Dragonflies hover, their iridescent wings catching the light, suspended between sky and water as if they too are part of this endless reflection. The reflections ripple gently, stirred by unseen forces, as if the lake itself breathes in slow, measured rhythms. Time does not move quickly here. It stretches, languid and unhurried, like the lake itself. The moment extends, inviting you to stay, to listen, to simply be. And for now, that is all that is asked of you. The world beyond feels distant, its noise and urgency dulled by the sheer vastness of this stillness. The lake cradles the sky, the trees, the wind, and now it cradles you as well. A silent, knowing presence in a world that so often forgets to pause. Here, in this space between movement and stillness, between reflection and depth, you feel something unspoken settle within you. And for the first time in a long while, you let yourself sink into it, surrendering to the quiet embrace of the lake's eternal patience. Part 4. Resting by the water. The world around you holds its breath, as if pausing in reverence to the stillness of the lake. The trees stand like silent sentinels along the shore, their branches draped over the water's edge as though reaching, yearning for something just beyond their grasp. Their reflections shimmer upon the water, shifting gently with each ripple, an echo of something both fleeting and eternal. The sky above is vast, its reflection stretching across the lake's surface, a perfect mirror to the infinite expanse beyond. You step forward, drawn by an invisible thread, the pull of something ancient and unspoken. The grass beneath your feet is still cool with dew, the moisture clinging to your skin, grounding you in the present. The scent of damp earth mingles with the crisp freshness of the water, creating a fragrance that speaks of renewal and quiet endurance. Searching for a place to sit, your gaze settles on a large, smooth rock nestled near the lake's edge. It is ancient, its surface worn by time, by wind, by water. It has borne witness to countless dawns, countless seasons shifting from one to the next, unbothered by the relentless march of time. You lower yourself onto it, pressing your palms against its cool surface. There is something deeply comforting in its solidity, in the quiet reassurance of its presence. It has been here for centuries, unmoved by the passage of time, by the rising and falling of the sun. You exhale, releasing a breath you hadn't realized you were holding. It is a quiet surrender, a letting go of the weight you carried here, worries unspoken, thoughts left tangled in the past. In this single moment, tension unwinds from your shoulders, dissolving into the still air around you. The water laps gently against the shore, rhythmic and unhurried, a sound that seems to murmur of patience and peace. The world does not demand, does not press, does not chase. It simply is, and so, for the first time in what feels like forever, you simply are as well. You allow yourself to exist in this moment, without the weight of yesterday or the anticipation of tomorrow. Here, by the water, everything falls into place. not because it must, but because, for now, nothing else is needed beyond this stillness, this breath, this simple act of being. Part 5. A moment of reflection. And with that breath, something within you shifts. You reach out, trailing your fingers through the water's surface. The lake shivers beneath your touch, sending ripples outward in soft, concentric waves. They expand, stretching further and further, dissolving into the infinite stillness beyond. The water, though calm, responds in a language of movement, whispering back in undulating patterns that catch the morning light, refracting it into glistening fragments. It is a quiet revelation, how even the smallest touch can leave an imprint. How even the gentlest presence creates movement, however imperceptible. You watch as the ripples spread, reaching farther than you thought possible, as if carrying a message across the lake's surface, an unspoken connection between you and something far beyond your reach. The wind stirs, carrying the rustling whispers of leaves. The water listens. The trees answer. The entire landscape moves in harmony, a quiet symphony of being. A bird schemes low over the water, its reflection rippling, briefly broken, before reforming as though it had never been disturbed. The moment is fleeting yet infinite, an endless cycle of movement and stillness coexisting. You close your eyes, and in that moment, you allow yourself to dissolve into it. The sound of the water lapping gently against the shore, the rustling leaves, the distant chirr of insects, they weave together into something more than mere background noise. They become part of you, or perhaps you become part of them. There is no separation, no boundary between self and world. There is no past here. No future pressing against the edges of the present. No weight of expectation, no urgency demanding your attention. Just the slow inhale and exhale of the wind, the rhythmic pulse of life in its simplest, purest form. There is only now. And within this now, within this stillness, you begin to understand something. Something deep and wordless. Something that has always been within you but was too often drowned beneath the noise of the world. It is the understanding that you, too, are like the lake, capable of stillness, yet ever in motion, reflecting the world, yet holding a depth entirely your own. And as you open your eyes, the lake remains before you, unchanged yet somehow different. Or perhaps, it is not the lake that has changed, but you. Part 6. Carrying the Stillness Forward. Time moves forward, steady and unceasing, like the ripples expanding across the lake's surface, like the wind weaving through the trees, like the gradual unfurling of morning into day. It does not pause, yet within its movement there is rhythm, a quiet constancy that offers both change and stillness. Everything moves, shifts, transforms. But within that movement there is space. Space for stillness, space for breath, space for simply being. You open your eyes. The lake remains unchanged yet ever-changing. The sky reflected upon its surface is now a softer blue, the warmth of day slowly pressing away the remnants of morning's hush. A bird glides low across the water, its wings outstretched in effortless flight, dipping slightly as if acknowledging the silence that stretches between the earth and sky. The trees sway in the faintest breeze, their rustling leaves offering a whispered echo of the stillness that lingers here. You inhale deeply, filling your lungs with air that carries the scent of water and pine, the lingering trace of morning's crispness fading into the sun's gentle embrace. The quiet hum of the world feels different now. Not an absence of noise, but a presence of peace. There is a softness to it, an invitation to carry this stillness forward. This peace does not belong only to this place. It has always been there, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be found even in the midst of movement and noise. The lake, the wind, the rhythm of the earth, these are not distant things. They are echoes of something deeper, something within you. And no matter where life takes you, no matter how loud the world may become, you know now that you can return here, not just in body but in memory, in breath, in the quiet corners of your mind where stillness waits patiently to be embraced. The lake, the wind, the stillness, they are yours to carry always, and they will always be waiting, ready to bring you home, no matter how far you may go.